The BKBK podcast is back once again. I'm your host, Brandon Phillips, and I'm here with fellow co-host, Captain Kyle McKenna, Brian Taylor. Yeah, man, good morning, everybody. And unfortunately, Kerry Taylor is out on business, so he is here with us in spirit as usual with Team BKBK. So I'm going to cut right to it, guys and girls. Hey, Jets fans. How you doing? How you doing, guys?
Cue the sad music.
Yes. And listen, I'm just wondering how everyone in the New York Jets football world is. That's it. But I do have another question for you, Jets fans. It's September right now. And how do you feel about the prospect of the Jets not winning their first game until November?
Cue the turkeys?
Cue the turkeys?
Yeah.
Gobble, gobble, gobble.
Literally and figuratively.
Yes, yeah. So basically, the question is, how does that make you feel as a Jets fan? How does that make you feel? Because there's a very, very high probability that we are going to, have 0 wins until the month of November. And I don't even think it's a possibility. I think it's more like a certainty that this is going to happen. Look at the teams that are lined up against us. Like, we as Jets fans and to our audience that we broadcast to, how in the world does that make you feel?
First of all,
talk about negative Nancy today for me, huh? It's all right.
Listen, Nancy. I'm bad news Becky right now.
Bad news Becky, negative Nancy.
So mono. Can we start there? Mono. So listen. Never in any professional sports franchise anywhere has a top player ever gotten mono. Much less. I didn't need to, bro. I've been alive for a couple decades now, right? It's never happened and will never happen again until I am in the dirt.
Wow.
Right? I mean, I can confidently say that it will never happen again.
Yeah. Exactly. The operative word, school and kids.
Right. School.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he's only 22, so he's not that far removed.
Teenage things and a 22-year-old, I guess, huh? It's terrible, man.
Yeah.
Bro, and it had to be us, right? I mean, it can only happen to the Jets or the Knicks. You know what I mean? Something like that can only, or maybe the Mets too.
It would definitely happen to the Mets. It would definitely happen to the Mets too. Thank goodness I'm not a Mets fan.
Yeah. Pete Alonso, watch out.
Go Yankees. Yankees clinched. Go Yanks.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
Absolutely. Yeah. All Yankees around the table.
And the funny thing is, people love to just broadly Yes, he is.
He's not currently around the table, so that's why I kind of left him out.
And isn't it funny how people just broadly assume that just because you're a Jets fan, you have to be a Mets fan?
I don't get that.
It's because two things. Because they were both based in kind of Queens, playing at Shea Stadium back in the day, and plus it rhymes. Duh, whatever. Jets, Mets. That means you like the Nets too. I don't like the Nets. Get out of here. I'm a Knicks fan.
Right.
I'm a Yankee fan.
Right.
And I'm a Jets fan. Let's go. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly.
So were the Long Island Ducks, but I'm not a Ducks fan. I mean, come on.
I've been to a couple Ducks games, and they're pretty good. I brought my son to a few Ducks games, and you know what? We went to a playoff game last year around this time because they were like pretty close to winning the whole thing, but they ended up losing. But still, it was.
You know what? I don't care because it doesn't prove my point. So you guys got exact opposite of what I was thinking. But whatever. Okay, Ducks, whatever. Take the Ducks if you want.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, getting back to the mono, right?
Yes.
Getting back to the mono. I mean, it's absurd. It's absurd.
Yeah.
You know, and it goes back to the Buffalo Bills game, which we should have won. At least we would have had one win under our belt to be up 16-0. And now we're 0-3 already. And it's 10 o'clock on the third Sunday.
Yeah, and we haven't even played yet.
We haven't
We're
played yet.
Definitely 0-3.
Yeah,
Like
no coin toss.
the beat that we're gonna get in the head
Beaten.
so bad today, we're gonna come out of this game 0-4, and we haven't even played the fourth game. That's true. Yeah. 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 And I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't even say that he's been underachieving. We just haven't been getting him the ball for him to kind of even heat up. If it's not the lack of good play from the quarterback before Donald, and then Donald being a rookie, and then now a whole new system with an offensive line that just is not playing well at all. As a matter of fact, they benched Matt Khalil.
Right.
So it's one of those. But yeah, Matt Khalil is his younger brother. That is correct. So Ryan Khalil, that is correct. But before we get into talking about our projections for the Jets versus Pats today, let's do a recap. Let's do a recap of Week 2 when the Jets, lost to the Browns and we got our heads kicked in. I think we lost 23-3.
Sure.
And yeah. And why is that? Why is that in your opinion? Because I definitely have an opinion as to why you never felt, or we never felt, or Jets fans in general never felt like they had a chance to even come back. What's your opinion on that? Yeah.
Mauled. No, you're not built for that.
Yeah.
He was a turnstile.
Yeah.
Beach him.
Yeah.
Well, I think the defense kept us in it for a while.
Yeah.
And I think Mayfield was confused about what Greg Williams was trying to do, and playing a lot of games in there, mixing some coverages, saying that he was going to come, as far as the blitz is concerned, and then backing off.
We had 3 sacks too.
Yeah. We definitely sacked him and rattled his cage a little bit, but that's what made you believe that we had some sort of shot. But just like a lot of games last year, the offense had no zip at all. And I think the offense moved more when Falk was in there than when Simeon was in there.
I think Simeon held the ball too long. First of
Right.
all, I think it took him too long to be deliberate and and to
Make a read.
just make a read and just to make a deliberate decision and
Right.
try to deliver. He's not that he's not immobile, but he's not that mobile to be able to play like that and hold the ball so long.
Right.
You know, if it was Darnold, he can scramble a little bit. If he holds the ball, he can scramble and create another avenue to maybe complete a pass or whatever. But he doesn't move like that, so I think he kind of shot himself in the foot a little bit. And then also, the reason why I asked you that question, Kyle, is because it all comes down, for me as a viewer, to the line play. I think when you're building an offense, you get your quarterback, or you can get your line first. Either one, I think they're you can get your franchise quarterback if you're fortunate to be able to do so. If not, you build up that offensive line, because when you build up an offensive line, any questions about your quarterback, i.e. Dak Prescott, when he first came and he wasn't a first round pick, it just puts him in a better situation. He's able to improve, and this is what, his fourth year now, I believe. He's improved so much. He's one of the top 3 quarterbacks in the league. Why? Because of the offensive line and their play and the stability in the offensive line. Out of the 5 players, I think you got like 4 Pro Bowlers there. And not just Pro Bowlers, like perennial Pro Bowlers or multiple Pro Bowl appearances. And that's due to how they've played the game and how effective they've been. And we just don't have that. We just don't have that.
Yeah, it kind of gets back to your point about Robbie Anderson. I mean, if you don't have an effective line, he is somebody that's going to go down the field.
Exactly.
Right? I mean, if you don't have time to protect,
Yeah.
you're not going to give him the ball.
It's foundational.
Yeah.
It's foundational having a good O-line.
Sure.
Because it's either that or the quarterback. So let's just say you have a terrible O-line and you get the quarterback. All right, fine, because it's so hard getting a franchise quarterback. You got to get him.
Right.
But then you immediately have to start building it. And I remember Kerry was talking about who we should draft, and he in the beginning of our talk about this 2019 draft, I remember Kerry really wanting to focus on the offensive line. He was like, we need to get old linemen in here.
Sure.
Actually, all of us, but I just remember Kerry the most really pushing that forward. And unfortunately, we did not do that. I mean, you can get really good O linemen in the second round. You can get really good O linemen in the third round as well. We got one, but I think that we should have pressed harder, since we had a number of draft picks as far as number 3 picks, to trade up or to combine it and get a second round solid bona fide starting rookie O lineman, just to add on to the free agent acquisitions that we've got. I don't like Winters. Khalil seems like it may have been a throwaway. I don't know. Hopefully, we'll see how he does against the Pats. And Beecham is terrible now. He's getting destroyed as a left tackle. He's more like a right tackle. And Shell has been inconsistent. I did notice one good thing, though. When they subbed out Ryan Khalil and put Jonathan, Harrison?
Yeah.
He played better. He played better than Khalil, and it was like a marked difference. And we'll have to see. You're not gonna be able to do anything if you don't have the proper support from an offensive line. And yeah. 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 Yeah.
them with a sack. You might get Jordan Jenkins with a sack, but it's not because they're gifted pass rushers. It's because they're manufactured blitzers.
Yeah, I hear you, man. I mean, is there anything else, whether it be positive or negative, that stood out to you guys as we were watching the game? I mean, the thing for me that really stood out is Le'Veon Bell. Le'Veon Bell to me is the absolute truth. Yeah, I know Brian's probably going to call me out for saying that I didn't want him, and it wasn't because I prefaced it even when I didn't want him. It was really about I couldn't read. I misread his attitude. I misread his vibe. I was associating him.
I'll let you off the hook, bro.
With the same vibe that Antonio Brown has, and I didn't like that at all. And I didn't want him being a Jet, especially since he was trying to diss the Jets back in the day too. And I was like, man, get out of here. We don't need you. You know what I'm saying? But hey, listen. We've all been wrong about things, and I'll admit it. You know, I love the kid, and I've always respected him. I always thought he was a great, great back. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, I was also the guy that didn't want Cousins, and Brian really wanted Cousins really bad. Remember that?
I still think he's a quality quarterback. I wouldn't spend $200 billion for him, but, you know, whatever. Here's the tough part, fellas.
Yeah.
We have so many holes on this team that if Darnold's the guy, we are wasting his window.
We are.
Right? You have the entire offensive line, 2/5 of which is going to be free agents next year. Not that we want to keep him anyway, right?
Exactly.
Khalil is out of here, Beachum is out of here, right?
And Winners, I think Winners may be gone.
Maybe.
Or we could cut him and not get a huge cap hit, I believe.
We could cut our whole offensive line and really need to start over.
That's fine.
Right? But it's not fine, right? Because
it's not fine.
It sounds great in theory.
Yeah.
When you have people to replace them with, that are better or great, and we have neither. We have again skill position wise on the wideouts. You know, a new one goes down, and a huge hole is there because Demaryius Thomas coming off a wow.
Sorry about that.
Good.
Come on, Minshew. What are you doing over there?
Minshew.
Hello.
hold on a second. Minshew. Where did Brian get this Minshew thing from? I wonder. I'm not sure.
You have the asset queued up?
I had it queued up, but then wait, we're gonna have to come back to Minshew.
Yeah,
we'll come back to Minshew.
Gardner Minshew. But yeah, go ahead.
Minshew. So you know, a new one goes down. You're missing somebody there. We have no pass rusher, right? But I'm not as concerned about that because we'll be able to manufacture sacks so far, right? But not when we need it, right? When we really need it, you know, against Buffalo,
the Browns got it when they needed it.
They got it all the time, man. It was all over the place. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But I mean, I just I don't know. It's tough. It's tough. We have so many holes right now that it's tough to see our way through. To Darnold's going to be like, I don't know, year 5 or 6 with us before I feel like we're going to have the opportunity to have a real team around him.
And then, you know, year 5 or 6, that's
you got to pay him.
You got to pay him or not. And then are we hitting the reset button again? Are we going to blame Darnold for our lack of productivity in the front office and in the coaching as far as developing our line and the system that would help a talented quarterback to excel and to grow? You know, I mean, he's the youngest quarterback to start an NFL game ever. So,
he can't be blamed for anything. He has done nothing to be blamed for. And the reality of it is, you know, I know we are going to talk about this later as far as like whether you hit the reset button or not. No way. Yeah. If we want to have any type of consistency whatsoever, we build around that guy. And that guy isn't there for us this week, and he wasn't there for us last week. And I think that what we're just like you said, if anything was positive, it was Le'Veon Bell. So if he's the best player on our team, and he's the guy that is going to be the primary force with us, we got to build some things around him.
Yeah,
on offense this week that take advantage of his skill set. And we know here's the good news, guys. And I was thinking about this.
There's good news. I'm listening.
Yeah, there's good news.
I'm listening.
So, Bill, we know Bill Belichick's defensive philosophy is to take away the things you do well, right? He's going to take away the 2 or 3 things you do well. The good news is we don't do anything well. So there's nothing for him to pinpoint to take away from.
Well, the one thing that he's just gonna crowd the line. It's gonna be all Le'Veon Bell, and that's all he needs to do to stop us. There's nothing else because the line can't do anything. And Le'Veon, if he catches the ball or if he's running the ball, all of his progress is self-made. None of it is really coming from the protection that we're giving him.
Well, I think that the positives with Luke Falk right now are going to be in his familiarity with what Adam Gase does.
Very true.
And the fact that he's coming from Miami. But I mean, once we talk about, are we segueing into the outlook for this week? Or are we still?
Yes, we are.
Dwelling in the sorrow, the lake of sorrow.
You know what, Kyle? Let's take it away, man. Starting with you, man. Basically, let's segue into what we think about this upcoming game in a few hours with the Jets going against the Patriots. What, if anything, gives the Jets a chance to beat the Patriots? That's the question. What, if anything? You know,
I am going to meet your negativity. The what if anything comment.
Hold on, wait a second. Wait. I gave him a more jovial laugh. I got to give a negative laugh.
So I'm just like Greg Williams manufactures a pass rush. I'm going to manufacture positivity.
I'm listening.
All right. So I stayed up. You know, I'm on the West Coast, so you guys were fast asleep in your beds when Washington State was playing UCLA last night. Final score 67-63.
Gee, where's the defense?
It was UCLA came back from 32 points down and won the game. But you really got to see how a Washington State quarterback gets busy on the field in that offense. And Anthony Gordon, who is the Washington State quarterback right now, threw 9 touchdown passes. And he broke Gardner Minshew's record for touchdown passes in a game. Now, why do I bring this up?
I don't know.
Because
why? Yeah,
because Anthony Gordon was the third string quarterback. Luke Falk was the starting quarterback, and Gardner Minshew was the second string quarterback. So, based on the guy that threw 9 TDs last night, the guy that tore it up 2 weeks in a row for Jacksonville, Jalen Ramsey should stay because he's got Gardner Minshew at quarterback.
Now, like, since you're out there on the West Coast in the state of Washington, you know what I mean? You know, it would be cool if they had you there to help coach these guys up, because then you would remind them of their alma mater guy, Gardner Minshew.
That's right.
Look, everybody, Brian, just tilt the phone up just a tick. There you go. That's Gardner Minshew, and I'm going to cut a single to Kyle. Here we go. Kyle, look straight ahead into the camera. Yeah, football face. Boom. That's Kyle's football face right there. There it is. Gardner and Kyle. And Gardner and
I got the delay on the Facebook here. I'm trying to see it.
Yeah, go ahead.
But my positivity take here is that if Luke Falk can muster up some of the Mike Leach magic that he has done in the past, and he is, like Adam Gase said, somebody that they kept in Miami because he ran their offense well and he could handle the pressure and he could handle all the other things that have to do with quarterbacking this offense.
Yeah.
I think we might have something here, and
it would be nice. I mean, he I'm not going to blame him for this. He is a dink and dunker kind of guy, but I mean, you're the third string quarterback getting rushed into the game, but his accuracy, I think he was like 19 of 25 or 20 of 25. I think he did well.
Yeah, he did pretty well.
He did pretty well in that regard. And you know, sometimes you got to dink and dunk just so that you can heat up and build a confidence in a game situation to kind of challenge people intermediately and deep. So,
but it was Trevor Siemian's game plan. So you're not game planning for Luke Falk. You're game planning for Trevor Siemian. and I don't even know who's the guy from the street that we signed. David
Fails. F-A-I. No, I'm just kidding. No, it's F-A-L-E-S.
Figures we'd
Sure.
we'd find somebody named Fails.
I know. I'm surprised the New York Post hasn't gone crazy on that because New York Post, they try to be funny all the time.
The Jets fails.
Yeah, exactly. The Jets fails.
So all right. So I'm not very positive. Let's be clear about the game today.
Yeah.
And what the outcome will be. I think the best bet that we can have is to try to run the ball as much as we can in order to slow the game down so that it doesn't end up being 67-3 or something like that.
Yeah.
From that perspective, their defense is tough. As far as the Patriots is concerned, I don't think it's just because they played weak competition. I think it's also that their defense is for real.
Yeah.
And I have them on my fantasy team, by the way. Yeah.
Can't wait to play you, boy.
Yeah.
Full disclosure.
Full disclosure, right?
It's all right. I have the Dallas
on my fantasy team.
I have the Dallas defense this week, and we're playing Miami. So we'll see who gets the most.
Miami.
Miami.
So
Jackson interception.
So my thing also, again, Patriots offense, we have terrible corners, and they're going to be running all over the place.
Yeah.
Crossing routes, all those other things.
Yeah. You know what's funny, B?
What?
The funny thing is, we're talking about the Pats, how they're going to blow our doors down, and we haven't even mentioned Antonio Brown yet.
I mean, please.
You know what I mean?
That dude.
That just shows you how good the Pats are because you have an potentially Hall of Fame receiver,
right?
All pro,
right?
For he's been in the league for 9 years,
right?
And he's no longer on the Pats.
And Gronk.
Yeah, and Gronk. Yeah.
And Gronk, too.
Yeah.
Right?
And I think they lost 2 starting linemen as well.
They did.
And they're going to kick our heads off.
Right. That's called having a roster. That's called having depth. That's called having a professional NFL roster.
They're not Jamaican. That's not called having a roster.
Rasta
More pasta? Fire. Lot of mercy. All right, no. All right, sorry.
So, make me laugh. When you make me laugh.
That Seattle weather got you, huh? You might have that mono, Kyle. What's going on with you out there? Gee whiz.
Don't try to jinx me with that right there. Try to jinx me with that.
Oh, no.
It sounded a little bit more like pneumonia than mono.
Oh, no, dude.
Gee, watch out for the spleen, bro. Watch out for the spleen.
Yeah.
But listen, man.
No fever. No fever.
All right, cool. Go ahead.
You look a little flushed, though, bro. Just, you've been in the sun.
That's because I got this hot light in my face because it's it's dawn here. You guys got me up at it. They say it's always darkest before the dawn. I know this because it isn't dawn yet.
Kyle might be lightly peak me or maybe lightly tweak me getting up at this hour over there.
Sure.
I feel like Brandon Phillips on a Monday.
Oh man. Yes, everybody. I get up at like 3 a.m. for work every day. So.
He gets up for the get up.
Yeah, you know that.
You.
Yeah. So go ahead, B. So what were you saying now?
We stink. I guess net. I think that's what I was saying. Besides that, we're just gonna get crushed. I mean, I can't even see it. The only positive piece that you can really glean is that Gase, has worked in this division before. He's familiar with the Pats. Mm-hmm. He's beaten the Pats before. But
with worse teams.
With worse teams.
Yeah.
No, not worse
teams.
No, this is a very, very bad Jets team.
Really?
I don't know.
Well,
we had Mosley, maybe.
Well, it's every time I think of bad Jets team as far as this year, in the context of this year, I really think about the offense. I do have a solid belief in the Jets defense. I love the fact that they benched Tremaine Johnson. I love that, and the cornerback that they brought in to sub in for him,
Harrison.
Yeah, he's been playing pretty well.
Mm-hmm. So,
and then we got 3 sacks. It's not like they were running on us either. So, and this is without our starting inside linebacker, Avery Williamson, who's no longer with us. Our backups, Neville and what's his name?
I thought Neville Hewitt played pretty well.
Yeah, he did play well. And so did our rookie, Blake Cashman.
Blake Cashman is going to turn out to be a positive legacy of McCagnon. Yeah. We were all very like, why are we trading up to get this guy? Because he's not afraid. Not afraid. He gets in there. He was a tackling machine in college from the scouting report, and it really hasn't changed in the pros. He doesn't miss tackles.
No, I just haven't seen it yet. I mean, maybe you guys have, you guys love him to be so endearing to him so far, and I'm like, I don't get
it. When we drafted him, I loved it that we drafted him. Out of all of the inside linebackers, according to NFL.com, according to Roto World, and according to Walter Camp Football and everything,
sure,
he was the 5th ranked inside linebacker.
Yeah,
and we got him in the 5th. So I don't care that we traded up a little bit to get him. We still got him in the 5th. And throughout the preseason, he can drop back and cover. He takes great pursuit angles. He's a really good tackler. You don't really see him sliding off of tackles and doing arm tackles. And he's only like 6'1", 230, 235. So he reminds me of like a bigger version of like Zach Thomas, or he looks like, or he's like a Jonathan Vilma to me.
I get all that. And you guys get on here and talk about him like as if you love him, bro. Like,
I mean,
like you want to hug him up. You know what I'm saying? Like,
as long as he's wearing decent cologne.
You're jealous of our relationship with.
I am. I'm trying to figure out how I can get closer to Minshew. Well,
you just need to you need to summon you need to grow a mustache, and you need to summon your inner Gardner Minshew.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that if the Jaguars can have the success that they're having, limited success, mind you, but a little bit of success with that guy stepping in and being the quarterback, it comes with Leonard Fournette running the ball. If we can get Le'Veon Bell running the ball, that might be a way in which we get Luke Falk in a position where he can help us win some games. Getting Herndon back is going to be big. We're going to get Herndon back.
Yeah, that'll be big for us.
And Darnold at the same time. And let's even be cautiously optimistic. We say if we could get one win somewhere in here in the first 6, and then get some momentum going, we might be okay. Did you say we're getting C.J. Mosley back today?
No, we're not. He's out.
No. I figured.
Okay.
Listen, man, we spent a lot of money on the guy. Make sure he's healthy at this point. I mean, it's not like we're gonna win the game, right?
And same thing with Quinnen Williams. We're not getting him back either. I don't anticipate getting Darnold, Herndon, Mosley, or Quinnen Williams until after our bye week 5.
So listen, you're talking about the one win though, Kyle. We have 2 games against the Pats, right? We have the Eagles in Dallas.
Yeah.
Tell me where that W is coming from.
You know, that W is coming November 3rd.
It's a tough argument to make. I pride myself on arguing. You know, I was in the model Congress at Baldwin High School.
Argumentation and debate, you gotta love it.
Yeah, but I don't got anything for you there. I'm just maybe it's today. Maybe we catch them by surprise. Field position is going to be big. You know, if we can put ourselves in a situation where we're not turning the ball over, but we're punting and we're flipping field, Lachlan Edwards could be a little bit of an asset today.
Oh, you know,
it's really bad when you're talking about how your punter can help.
And we forgot to mention we might have a kicker.
Yeah,
we might have a kicker.
Yeah, we might have a kicker.
Hey, I mean, hey,
keep kicking, baby. Keep making them.
Keep hope alive.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. It's so funny. The Pats are such a polished organization that they can bring in, you know, the talk of the NFL and negative talk of the NFL. They can bring in Antonio Brown. He's putting out videos of himself and this and that. Still not distracted necessarily. Pats are still winning. Then, you know, if you go before that, the whole controversy with Robert Kraft. And people are already predicting that the Pats are basically a shoo-in for the AFC to represent the AFC in the Super Bowl. And we've only played 2 games. So that just goes to show you how much of a strong organization that the Pats have, and they are just so polished that you can have controversy going all the way up the flagpole, all the way up to the owner, and still not be swayed or having or experiencing any sort of internal, destruction, so to speak. And all we have is just our quarterback is out, which happens in football, and we're falling apart. We have no O-line. We're falling apart. We're getting our best defensive player getting fined for, a terrible call. You know what? Maybe a decent call, but don't fine the man for that. I think it's ridiculous. And honestly, it's not a decent call. I don't think that he was roughing the passer. He threw the ball. He took a step. He got hit. This is football. And now he gets paid, what is it, like $37,000 per game check. And for that one play, he gets fined $21K. It's like, what's the NFL turning into? Like, you're putting people out there to work and to make money. This is their occupation just for the opportunity to find them. And I know it's football, but that kind of, it just bothers me a little bit. I know we kind of just steered off course, but I just have to say
Jamal Adams game check is only $37,000.
Are you sure?
I'm positive it's only $37,000.
Sounds very low to me.
Well, it does. He probably got a good signing bonus, and then your roster bonus in March and this and that. So his game check is about $37,500, I believe, and then he was fined $21,000. So that, I did the math on it. It adds up to like 500 and something thousand for the season. But I'm sure he got a significant signing bonus, and then roster bonus, workout bonus. Still on the team by this. You know how they just intermittently hit you with money as part of your contract, and they just spread it out. But yeah, his game check is only 37 and change.
We're getting a little feedback that my audio's low. I don't know if you guys knew that or not. So I'm trying to talk louder.
Okay, you got it.
Trying to get a little more animated.
There you go. Project your voice. Segment. Project your voice, brother. Good. So, hey, Kyle, you know what? While we're going, too, because my man Al Sobel, you remember Al Sobel from Baldwin?
I do. I bought a Nintendo off of him in 1987.
His nickname is Out Al Night. He likes to hang and
funny
and carouse. He was hitting us up during our last broadcast, and I missed it because I wasn't paying attention to my phone. I was just too busy talking and kind of cutting shots and everything. So let's shout out to Al. He watches the show all the time.
What up, Al?
What up, Al? You know what I mean?
What up, Al?
Much love and respect to you, Al. Al Sobel, and his wife Tam, another Baldwinite. Tam, hey Tam. But
yes,
anyway,
sir.
But anyway, so before we move on, just one last note: is there any way? Do we have a chance at all?
No,
against the Pats.
No. Like, what? Did we just spend 15 minutes talking about this segment? Really? Like next?
Yeah. I mean, you know what?
It's the NFL. It's the NFL. We always have a chance.
Yeah.
We always have a chance. You never know.
This guy's a coach, man. This guy's a coach, man. He knows how to coach him up.
Positive K. That's Kyle. Right. Positive K.
We always got a shot. We always got a shot. No.
You remember that rapper Positive K?
Sure.
I'm positive. He had that song with MC Light. That's Kyle. Positive K, man.
That's right.
You play to win the game.
Yep.
Hello.
Hello.
Yo, by the way, I don't know how the game ended up last night, but
which game?
Herm Edwards, the Arizona State.
Yeah.
But Herm Edwards was undefeated as of yesterday.
Yeah.
Him and our boy Kevin Mawai was coaching over at Arizona State.
Nice.
Hall of Famer Kevin Mawai.
Jets Hall of Famer Kevin Mawai.
Right.
Yeah, man.
Not Titans. No Titans. Seattle.
You know that. So guys, as we move on, Kyle, this one is for you, man. Just to jumpstart for us. Since the Jets are gonna stink up the 2019 season, they'll end up with a very high first round pick, in my opinion, and maybe, who knows, they're gonna compete for the first one as it is now between them and Miami. So far, it looks like Tua. Let me get this pronunciation right. Oh man. Tagovailoa. I don't know. Yep. He'll be the highest rated player so far in the 2020 draft. Now, should the Jets do what Arizona did last year, draft, if we get the number one draft pick, draft the best QB coming out of the draft this year, which potentially will be Tua, and then deal Darnold. What do you guys think about that?
Absolutely not. I will put my head through the wall if they do that.
And tell me why.
Because I like Darnold, and I think that Darnold is going to be a wonderful franchise quarterback once we put him in a position to succeed, and he doesn't have mono, and
wow,
he gets to spin a little bit. I don't have any. I'm not wavering in my faith in Darnold. I like Darnold very much, and I don't know how much I love Tua for the pro game, especially given the Alabama quarterback, not really like a long track record of success. They're very good at announcing games and for ESPN, because that's where they've all ended up, like AJ McCarron and there's one that backs up somebody on Cincinnati, right, or Buffalo or something like that. One of the former quarterbacks.
But doesn't Tua look different though? I mean, from those guys. I mean, he just looks different. No.
Yeah, I don't. If you wanted me to pick between him and Deshaun Watson, him and Sam Darnold, him and Carson Wentz, I mean, he doesn't rise above any of those people that are doing it on the NFL level. I've seen the throws, the difficult throws that Darnold can make. I'm looking forward to seeing him in rhythm, making the NFL throws that are like a regular day, a regular outing. So I don't know. I mean,
so let's say this, because I actually was the person that posed this question. I actually had that conversation with Kerry earlier this week, and he has the same feeling that you do. So let's say this: he's gonna miss, let's say, 6 weeks. Meaning Darnold.
Yeah.
He has the last 10. By all accounts, those last 10 are probably pretty easy games, right? Games that going into the season. Correct. We thought we were going to win. So let's say during those 10 games, we go 5-5. And let's say over those 10 games, he ends up with, let's say, 20 touchdowns and 15 interceptions. Right? Yeah. You don't love it.
Yeah.
And about 3,200 yards, right? So he ends the season 20 and 15, 3,200 yards. And we're 5-5 during that period of time. Obviously, the offensive line doesn't get much better, but maybe they gel, but not great. Then you're staring, 5-5, top 3 picks. So maybe we're not the number 1 pick at that point in time anyway. But if you had the opportunity, record regardless, you get the number 1 pick, and that's what you're staring at is Darnold's probably 50%, 1-to-1 touchdown to interception over a 2-year period of time, net. Does that change your decision?
For me, no. I'm sticking with Darnold because I see how good he can be. Also, he would have 2 full years under his belt as an NFL player. He came in the NFL at 20 years old. Some of these QBs are coming in kind of like Baker Mayfield already being 23. So he's still being groomed at an NFL level. I like his intangibles. I like the way that he shows leadership. And I just like the way that he plays the position. It behooves us as an organization to protect this guy and to give him the tools that he needs to win. And I want to see that. I really like him. I like the way that he just takes ownership of the quarterback position. And everything else will be a question mark if you draft someone else. Like, we're going to have to go through this process again. So I don't want them treating him like how they treated Rosen, even though Rosen is a different dude. But you know what? We still have Darnold. Let's even say that we have the first pick, or let's say top 3 once again, because of our record's going to be terrible. This is where you start getting that O-line. We had that guy out of Notre Dame, that guard that came in right away as a rookie, made the Pro Bowl, was an all-rookie dude, Quentin Nelson.
Yeah.
Maybe we can get something comparable to that. That's why you pick high in the draft, because you get the guys with the most potential to immediately succeed in the NFL. And we should be looking like that. Honestly, if we had a first rounder and a second rounder and we went with O-line, I would do it. And keep Darnold and protect him.
Brian, going back to what you just posed there with, how do we feel about 20 and 15, 20 TDs and 15 interceptions?
Sure.
But I just pulled up Drew Brees' stats, and the best year that he had in the first 7 was 27-7. But he was 17-16, 11-15, 27-7, and then in year 4 he's 26-11. So if you're looking at, do we all agree that Drew Brees is a Hall of Famer?
100%.
Sure.
All right. Most yardage, touchdowns galore. I mean, he had a year where he had 46 against 14 interceptions. Sam Darnold is, if he is 20 and 15, that doesn't make me discouraged whatsoever based on what it takes. If you're going to long-term invest in a guy, and San Diego decided that they wouldn't long-term invest in Drew Brees. He had the shoulder issues at the time.
Right.
They said, all right, we're going to trade this guy either to Miami or whatever. We're going to draft either Eli or Phillip Rivers and let it rock from there. But this guy went on to really age well in a system that took his skill set to the max. And so I think based on your argument, I still feel really strongly about Darnold and what he'll be, 3-4 years from now. But we're gonna have to pay the man, and we're gonna have to lock in with him because everybody's gonna get paid a lot of money from now on at quarterback.
Sure.
Whether you're Matt Ryan, Kirk Cousins, we didn't even balk at the Kirk Cousins money. We offered the Kirk Cousins money. He didn't take it.
Thank goodness we didn't get him. Thank goodness, Brian.
Well, either way, I think that I'm still riding with Darnold.
Listen. He doesn't have mono right now, right?
Who? Yeah, and
Cousins.
Cousins. But you know what? Darnold, his stats are probably still better after playing just one game than Kirk Cousins.
Check that.
Well, no, I'm not checking it. I'm just gonna put it out there into the ether. I'm not gonna check that. But I'll roll the dice on it. I'll play craps with it.
All right.
Yeah, man. So listen, guys. That was great. I don't know. We just got to keep Darnold, and we just got to, like I said, just build, solidify his foundation around him and put him in a better position to succeed. How do you guys think Gase has been calling
terrible
games?
Terrible,
huh?
Terrible. No imagination at all. I'm not seeing anything that would say that this is a team that's led by a offensive guru.
Yeah, and they're quick to label him that too.
Right.
Even in camp, Le'Veon Bell was like, "Oh, I love this offense."
Right.
He thought it was something special. A lot of the players and just people around the league talk about Gase as being like, "Oh, he helped Peyton Manning and this and that." And, so I'm happy. I'm not having given up on him, but I'm just questioning a little bit. Go ahead, Kyle.
I think you guys are being a little too quick to, and I think anybody who's saying that is being quick to it because the Buffalo game. You could point to the Buffalo game as an issue, but we also knew that Sam Darnold wasn't 100% when he played that game, and we lost what was arguably our number one receiver in Enunwa. Now, fast forward to the game last week,
right,
and you're looking at a game where your third string quarterback is playing, and he's not even game planned for. So you're very limited, from a play caller's point of view. You're very limited in what you can do. You don't have a lot of options. You don't have the full playbook, the full complement of plays. You're trying to get a guy from not getting his head torn off, especially when the Trevor Siemian injury was nasty.
Yeah.
It was really, really nasty looking. and you don't have a fourth string guy. You don't have another guy to go in. You're putting in Le'Veon Bell as a wildcat quarterback at that point. And think about how limited that would be if you had to go in that direction. So I give him a little bit of a pass until he's at full strength.
Yeah.
With that kind of stuff, and a lot of it, I hate a draw on 3rd and 15. Going back to like the Joe Walton days. People used to complain about that, but he's playing a field position game where he's trying to stay in the game with a lack of offensive options. I'm hoping that this week it'll be a little bit better, just because you're game planning with the same guy for the whole week. This is 3 different quarterbacks we've played.
Yeah,
you got to take that into consideration.
I'm giving him somewhat of a pass. The reason why I brought it up is because we're 0-2. I do agree with Brian that some of the play calls were kind of questionable, but I'm not saying that he is the issue. I'm just saying right now that my antennas are up. They're up, and I'm just kind of reading the situation, because it's hard to execute anything when you have an O-line that has not congealed and is not playing well. So that's my overall point. If I'm going to point my finger at anything before coaching, before, receivers running routes, before the defense, before us having a cornerback who's overpaid and Tremaine Johnson and not playing well, and any of that, I'm going to the offensive line first. They stick out. It's a glaring need there. So that's my point. But yeah, my antennas are up, because nothing seems to be going right, and I'm going to be overly critical if now I'm seeing like a bad play call here and there, and less willing to forgive. But I'm still going to give him a pass. I want to give him a few more games before I really zone in on him and really evaluate him.
When did Simeon get hurt in that game? Was that
second quarter? Yeah.
So I feel like for 6 quarters, I feel like we were playing an offense that was from the preseason. I didn't feel like we had any imagination in the plays that we called, misdirection, scheming somebody open. I just didn't feel like any of that was going on in the offense that I saw for the 6 quarters that I was watching.
I think some of that died when we lost to Nunwa too, because he's like a little, he'll be the one that'll get the screens. Well, between him and Le'Veon, so we may have gotten a little bit limited on that. But I mean,
this is what you get paid, right? You're not coaching the defense,
True.
Right? So you got the head coach of the defense. I mean, this is what he said, right? Head coach of the defense, Greg Williams. I can say, man, imagination all over the place, right? I mean, how he ran, what he ran, and he doesn't have any corners to speak of, right? So, and he lost both of his middle linebackers as well, right? So, I mean, he has handicaps on his side of the ball too. And I felt like, hey, whatever he had, he rolled out there and he pitched whatever game he could pitch. Swung and missed in some situations, but hit him in the mouth in others. I didn't feel like anything that we did offensively in the first 2 games at any point in time really was something that I felt like imagination put us in a position to be able to succeed. Maybe I'll see it future forward, and I get it. We, offensive line, it's tough to do anything offensively without that. So how do you scheme quick throws in the flat or right over the middle or slants or crosses, whatever it is, in order to get some people open so we can move the ball a little bit?
Right.
And like you said, Kyle, you got a week with Falk. You had more than a week with Falk because he's played with you, right? What are you talking about, bro? but he's played on the team in Miami, right? So he knows the offense, all those other things. So you should be able to open up the playbook a little bit more with him as opposed to with Simeon, to be honest with you.
Yeah, but I would assume that he was running a scout team defense the week before he came in. I mean, he was the live number 2, but you can't imagine that he got that many reps leading up to it. But I think all your points are pretty solid when it comes to trying to manufacture some people open. We got to remember too that Jamison Crowder had like nearly 10 catches in the first game, so they were doing some things, especially in the first half, of the Buffalo game. Like, let's say that we repeated the offense that we had in the first half in the second half of the Buffalo game, and we won that game. Would we be having the same conversation?
Well, the W is that deodorant, right? I mean, you win, you feel good about it. Even if it's one point, you lose, then you know.
Right.
Yeah, but you're making right guard turn left and short say maybe over there.
Absolutely.
Just being fair, though, you're saying 6 quarters. I think it's more like 4. If we're going to be ultimately fair, and 2 of those quarters that we're talking. Well, actually, you're saying 6 quarters because you're talking about 2 games. So the second half of the first game, and I think
No,
I think maybe you give a pass. Maybe you give a pass to the first and second half of the second game because of the situation with injuries. I don't know. I'm not making excuses for him, but at the same time, it's not a good situation for a play caller when you can't protect the quarterback and the quarterback is your third option. Yeah. So if he was your first option, he'd be your starter. So Captain Obvious over here, but
no, Captain.
If he was your first option, he'd be your starter.
That's true. That's true.
The sky is blue.
That's a nugget.
No, you're not Captain Obvious. You are Captain Kyle McKenna.
Minshew.
Tackle on the play.
Well, you keep playing around. I'm going to come back with just a mustache on this.
All right, guys, let's move on. This is going to be our Tweak Me, Peek Me segment. And you know what? I have nothing to say about the Jets in this segment. So, yo, B, cue that music, man.
That's right.
Go ahead. Yeah. You can either tweak me or peek me, or now let me stop.
Yes,
I have no rhymes. All right, guys. So listen, I have nothing to say about the Jets in this segment of Tweak Me and Peek Me. However, I will talk about what piques me first. And when it comes to a fellow Baldwin Bruins alum, Kevin Shippos. Kevin Shippos probably like, whoa, wait a second. Oh, I didn't even know you were talking about me. Yes, Kevin, we're talking about you. A fellow Baldwinite from basically a famed family in the Baldwin area, through football and wrestling, a very popular family. Even Katie Shippos, like everyone in that family was just highly athletic and just people to look up to. And I just want to just congratulate Kevin Shippos, who's the head coach of the Massapequa football team, last week to start the game off, to start their season off. Won his first game of the season. I believe the score was 41-8. So I just love seeing fellow Bruinites going out there and just being successful. And I just want to just give a shout out to Kevin Shippos, head coach of the Massapequa Chiefs. Now, what tweaks me also happens to be Kevin Shippos. And the reason why Kevin Shippos is tweaking me out is because that first game of the season where he kicked the pants off of a team 41-8 happened to be my Baldwin Bruins, our Baldwin Bruins. So, Kevin Shippos, yeah, that's kind of why you're on my tweak list as well. You beat our beloved Baldwin Bruins. So yes, folks, it is possible to love and hate someone both at the same time. But no, we're just kidding. Much love to you, Kevin Shippos. Much success. And hey, listen, maybe next time the Bruins play you, maybe we'll get the W. So shout out to you, Kevin Shippos. Great job.
I'd be interested to know. I think Kevin Shippos is going into like year 6 or 7 right now. What his overall Baldwin versus Massapequa record is.
It might be year 8. I think he was given the position in 2011.
Okay.
Yeah.
So maybe Kerry can find that out for us.
Yeah.
Since he's been around the program intimately with family for a few years now. Maybe we get an overall record on that. But I don't know if it's so good for Baldwin. I think it might be slightly tilted towards the Massapequa Chiefs, the home of Jerry Seinfeld and the Baldwin brothers and the Baldingers.
Oh,
Brian Baldinger.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
I know we beat Massapequa.
Yeah, you know that.
Yes, we beat Massapequa, and it was quite fun.
True.
And I think we were the first team to beat Massapequa in like 17 years. In 91 when we beat them. So we'll always have that.
Just saying.
We'll always have that.
Yep.
Tweak me, peak me. I am slightly piqued by the success of Washington State quarterbacks on the collegiate and NFL level, and I'm hoping that Luke Falk follows suit with that right there. I am tweaked that nobody knew how much of a problem Antonio Brown was before all these people invested money in him. If all these red flags existed, why were people still, bringing him in and guaranteeing money and stuff like that?
Talent.
The word I heard was that the Patriots cut him when they cut him because his guarantee kicked in this Monday. So they had to cut him before this Monday, or they had to pay him.
Smart.
And when you look at the second allegation or third, I don't know if it's the second or the third, but it says that the woman who was painting the mural for him and that he made the sexual advances towards went directly to the NFL with it. So you had somebody who kind of made their complaint to the NFL, and then the NFL was working an investigation about it. So you got to imagine that if he's not put on that inactive suspended list or whatever Adrian Peterson was put on yet, that he's going on it. So the Patriots cut ties with him probably preceding something like that. But I think that you guys mentioned it too, like, Did Pittsburgh know all about this before they traded him? Did Oakland know about stuff like this? These NFL security departments are big time. They got like former FBI agents and CIA and everything in there. So nobody seemed to know that this was a problem, and it's kind of odd.
From my understanding, in regards to the sexual allegations, none of the teams knew. As a matter of fact, they were negotiating paying one of the accusers about $2 million just to keep her silent. So I think he kept that away from Pittsburgh. I think he kept that away from the Raiders. And then, of course, it blew up by the time he reached the New England Patriots. But I know that he was trying to keep it under wraps, but then I guess he felt like he had a strong case, so to speak, and was like, nah, man, forget that. I'm not paying this girl $2 million. Forget all that. Or maybe it could have been ego, or who knows what it was. I don't know.
Well, I mean, I'm cynical because I watched this show called Ray Donovan, and I know that secrets aren't, people put secrets to the side when they hire guys like Ray Donovan. So I don't know how many Ray Donovan calls had to be made in this situation, but sheesh, that's my peak week to me.
He sounds Jamaican. Is Ray Donovan Jamaican?
Ray Donovan.
Ray Donovan. Go ahead, B.
All right. So listen, I'm peaked by my fantasy team Hall of Famers. Yeah, man, 2-0.
Fantasy team.
That's right, man.
Hold up.
Explain that.
Pause. Your fantasy team is named the Hall of Famers.
It's named the Hall of Famers.
That's why I was saying explain it.
That's what it is. So Hall of Famers because I got the gold jacket, baby.
And how long have you had that name as your team?
I've been in the Hall of Fame for a while, bro. It's been a while.
Come on,
three-time champion, and back-to-back too. The only GM to go back-to-back winners and have won 3 championships. Right. Nobody. There's only one other that's won 2. All right, and
Brandon.
Yeah, what's up?
And you see him quiet, right? You in the corner.
Brandon, what is the name of your team?
It's an acronym. It's called the Babe. and it means the biggest and baddest ever. The biggest and baddest ever.
Except for Hall of Famers.
And from my avatar, I have a picture of Babe Ruth with a crown on it because he's the king of all that. The biggest and baddest ever. So I'm always in there. I do have a championship myself. I was in first place all of last year. I won the first round of the playoffs. I lost the second, and then I ended up winning in the third. So at least I made my money back, you know. And but I'm always in contention. I'm highly, highly respected in this league. And Brian knows that. You know what I'm saying? So much so he texts me, "Yo, why are you drafting right next to me? I hate drafting next to you, man." Because
oh, that's highly respected and feared. Respected and feared.
Of course, you know it is.
Oh
it's
my
football.
goodness.
But no gold jacket.
I do have I have a championship.
Right.
But
you got a chip.
Self-proclaimed gold jacket. We're still going.
Well, if I don't have one, nobody got one.
Fine, but you know what? Nobody has one. You're not retired yet.
Get out of here, baby.
You're not retired.
This is an ESPN platform or Yahoo?
Yahoo, yeah.
So Yahoo, you get like the silver, the platinum, and then the gold jacket is the ultimate one. Is that how it works?
Well, we keep hopping around, you know, different people when they are commissioner and stuff. So some of the history has been, it's just not there. But listen, man, get out of my segment. By the way, well, all right.
By the way, my fantasy team is called Hard Body Karate.
I love it.
HBK.
Sweep the leg.
Sweep the leg, baby. And my avatar is Elias from Platoon.
Oh, that's hot. Is he getting shot up with his hands up in the air, like, you know?
No, I'm sorry. No, it's not Elias. It's Barnes.
Barnes. Okay.
With the scar across his face.
By the way, you know who Elias always kind of reminded me of? It's going to be so weird.
John Bonafide?
It was a mix of Bonafide, definitely Bonafide.
Wow, it's a mix.
And here's the mix because he's a little shorter. If DDA and Bonafide had a baby. I don't know.
Wow.
You know? Yeah.
Oh, that's exactly what I needed to picture on a Sunday.
All right. So what tweaks me? Listen,
go ahead.
So in my other fantasy league, bro, it does. So that name is Cuban Links. Hot name too. It's a hot name.
It's not original.
No, it's hot. That's what? That's hot.
We had Cuban Links in our league before.
What?
Yeah, I think Curtis was Cuban Links before, one of his friends or something like that.
Curtis got crazy names that aren't.
Or like one of his friends. It's not original. B.
No, it is original. Anyway, when I'm 0-2 in that league, man, it's terrible.
Yeah.
So 0-2, I'm probably going to be 0-3 this week, man. This is bad.
By the way, what place did you come in last year in our fantasy?
I didn't win just like you did.
Dead last.
I did come in last.
Yeah, thank you. Goodbye.
But
cutting away.
It was like the Yankees, but I wasn't able to do it with all the injuries. Whatever. Come on, man. You know what it is.
I'm cutting to Kyle's pretty daughter. Hey, girl.
Hey.
Say hi.
Did we wake you up?
It's very early here in Seattle metro area.
It was Daddy's coughing, wasn't it? Was that what it
Yeah,
did?
probably.
That's what did it?
Probably.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, go ahead, B. Finish your thought. My bad. So, it's in the other league, and this is your tweak or your peak?
That's my tweak.
Yeah.
0-2 over there, man. I just can't figure the league out, bro. Just can't figure it out. Haven't won one over there.
How many people you got in your league?
12.
Come on, B.
What? I don't, yeah, right. Yeah. I mean, you feel like I should be able to, do it.
Yeah. You know why? Because you're not that great of a GM. You're kind of hyping yourself up.
Awesome GM, bro.
I got to give it to him, huh, Kyle? All right, guys and girls, listen. Thanks for watching another episode of the BKBK podcast. We want to be able to keep bringing you the latest news and viewpoints of where sports and the culture collide and the New York Jets reign supreme. So keep watching. You can find us on Facebook on our BKBK podcast fan page. Find us on Twitter on @BKBK podcast, Instagram @BKBK podcast as well. As on YouTube now, you can find us by typing in BKBK podcast. Make sure you hit the like and the subscribe button so that you can consistently get our episodes.
Right.
And also, let's just say you're driving in the car, you can't physically watch anything. You can always listen to it. All right. Tune into bkbkpodcast.podomatic.com. All right, guys, girls, kids, loved ones. That's it. Let's go Jets. Let's go Baldwin Bruins. And let's go Team BKBK. Woo!
Let's go Luke Falk.
Let's go Luke Falk.
Watch this say Cougars. Let's go.